right, Shalom, Shalom. Back out here on these highways and hedges in the streets of Dallas, Texas. It's your brother Kalab. Also go by Hope, Grace, and Mercy. Another opportunity to give diligence to make our call and election sure. Before we go any further, I'm going to face the east and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakradas. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who well teaching this truth in its entirety. All right? So, Lockie, let me get my phone set up real quick. Sun is sunning today, right? All right, I'm gonna grab a couple of articles from the End Time headline before we get started today. All right, first article says, if super volcano in Italy erupts in 2025, it could instantly produce worldwide famine. And we know that famine is coming, both for food and water, and also the famine of the word is shortly approaching, is quickly approaching. All right. Also, it says millions of Americans told to keep windows shut as toxic chemicals spark air quality emergency. All right, and that is happening from the wildfires raging across Canada have sent plumes of toxic smoke southward. So that's happened over there in Canada because of those wildfires that's going on. Also, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, warns that China isn't America's biggest threat, but it's the enemy within. Yeah, man. Egyptian set against Egyptian. Egyptian set against Egyptian. All right. The other precept, a kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. Roughly paraphrased. All right, another article from the End Time headlines. It says that something in deep space is flashing every 44 minutes. Oh Lord, y'all watching me, I was shot. Something in deep space is flashing every 44 minutes, and astronomers have no idea what it is. Hey man, that's a beautiful number, 44. Powerful number, spiritual number. Another article says, I don't care about no Jeffrey Einstein or P. Diddy. I don't care about none of that. It says at least 62 Israelis infected with measles amid outbreak. So lucky for me not being right in the camera, the sun shining bright on my phone. I can barely see it, but so let's just start off in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, verse 9. Right when it reads, the prophets which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord had truly sent him. So all the things that the prophets are out here preaching and teaching about and warning about, the wars, rumors of wars, the MOT to the beat. You know, they got a new video that just came out this week. How the guy started the video off saying, my name is not important, but he was one of those who did the test trial for the Neuralink, and he got a C-hip in his head, in his brain. You know, able to work on iPhones, move parts of the iPhone. You know, interact with his phone, his Apple products, you know, without using his hand. And we know that they gonna throw it on you as a wonder, like something that you gotta get with. Like, oh man, this is the newest thing going on. And you know, Israel love folly, man. They love folly, and they also love following their oppressor. But this time around, now listen, hearkening to the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and listening to the prophets, what's gonna happen is you're gonna fall in line with your oppressor. You're gonna get the same judgment. It might not be the same judgment, but it's gonna cause you to get judged as well. All right, because the famine of the word is coming soon. It's also gonna be a famine of food and water as well. Like the article in the End Time headline says that if that super volcano erupts over there in Italy, it can spark worldwide famine. All right. Next precept is coming from Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet has been among them. Yeah, so the prophets, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, still got his men out here giving y'all warning, letting y'all know that a famine of the word is coming. A famine of food and water is coming. Concentration camps, lockdowns. The C-19 is back. Matter of fact, I got a friend of the family in the hospital right now in ICU because of the C-19, supposedly. You know, in ICU. You know, so Yahweh Hashem Yahushai still got his prophets out here giving you warning. Right now, it might not look so cool to pay attention to the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but the time is coming where you're going to wish that was the only thing that you would spending your last days doing. All right? So a famine is coming. You know, war is coming. You see the rumors of wars. You see the war. You know, earthquakes in diverse places. You know, we living in the last days right now. All right? This is Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 13. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh thy power, behold, my servant shall eat. Yeah, in the time of famine, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai says the elect is going to eat. You know, we ain't got nothing to worry about, so we don't have to store up store up canned goods. If you got a couple of extra canned goods, ain't nothing wrong with that, but we ain't banking on the things that we putting up for ourselves that we can buy out of a grocery store. Again, it says, therefore thus says the Lord Yahweh thy power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. So all those who despise Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, they're going to wish that they paid attention when they had an opportunity to. All right? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said that his servants are going to eat and drink. All right? Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right, 14. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. So all you of Yasharala that didn't come back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai when you had an opportunity to, in the times of the famine, you know, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said that his servants are going to eat and drink. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be merry. Lord, that I'm a part of that number. You know, we're going to be merry in those days. All right? But guess what? All you that didn't come back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but you think Yahweh Hashem Yahushai got something else set up for you. It says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy and of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart. So you're going to be out here ashamed, crying, despair, like, damn, man, how can I get up out of this? Well, you're not, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, he didn't set it up for you to make it up out of this thing like that. You're going to die on this side. All right? Next precept is coming from 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh thy power. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel? Not the gospel of Yahweh thy power. All right? Again, it says, for the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh thy power. So the judgment gonna start with Yasharala. You know, 2/3 of our people, also the people, 2/3 of our people who have not came back to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and some who have came back to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but not in true faith and sincerity. You know, they faking it today if they thought they was gonna make it, or they put the plow down, or they went back off into the world, or simply they just know the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, but they ain't turning their feet to the testimony. All right. And if first be, I start over. 1 Peter 4:17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh thy power. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh thy power? So hey man, what should the end be for those who didn't obey Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai? You already know what it is. It's gonna be judgment. You know, they're gonna have to die death by pain before they can come into this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in the kingdom. You know, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, he gonna spank them on this side for not taking heed to his word. All right. Reading on verse 18. Still in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 18, and it reads, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So those who have came back to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the elect, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to have mercy upon. If they going to scarcely be saved, then where you think the sinner and the ungodly are going to stay? You know? If the elect is going to barely make it about this thing, ain't gonna be no gray areas for the sinner and the ungodly. You know? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai gonna make good on his word. So if you barely make it about this thing, then just imagine what's gonna happen to the person who didn't make it. You know? Judgment is gonna fall on them. Just as Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai had it stood up. Shalom, shalom to my brother Heart of David. Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Shalom, all right. The sun is shining bright. All right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2. Starting at verse 1, and it reads, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. And we got to constantly be seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai every day. You know, shouldn't a day go by that you ain't seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai in some form or fashion. Whether it be reading, whether it be going out to the highways and byways, whether it be reading and studying, fasting. You know, it ain't no sick days with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The true train ain't gonna never stop. And you know, on the days that you sick, them be the days you should definitely be seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So constantly. All right. Again, Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. You got to constantly endure whatever you got to endure. You know, we still catching some forms of hell. We in captivity, you know, but we got to constantly endure. All right? Because it's going to pay off. And make not haste in times of trouble. Don't be wishing that you can get up out of something and not have to go through something. You know, I just wish the Lord snap his fingers and this will all be over with. Even though we know that he can do that, but Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is preparing us. We going through these things because he's molding us in the times to come, which is Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. You know what I'm saying? When your money can't buy you no food, you know, when you got to take that C-milk, you know, to be accepted in this society. And we in those times right now. All right. Verse 3. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Yeah, you better be cleaving to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai if you got an opportunity to. He woke you up to this marvelous light. To put the names back in your mouth, you know, back in your mind. You know, you're able to come out here and do this will and do this work, prophesy, preach, teach. And guess what? You better be cleaving to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. It's best as you can, to the best of your ability. Because guess what? Who wouldn't want to be increased in the last days? You know? And you're going to be, and those who are increased are going to be increased at a time where ain't nobody going to have nothing. But everybody back is going to be against the wall. So it's going to be best for you to come back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua while you got an opportunity. You know? Cleave unto him. Because you would want to be increased in the latter end. All right? Again, it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Amen. In Jacob's trouble, our temptation, when the dollar didn't collapse, everything, it's ugly everywhere. Guess what? You're going to want to be increased at that time, man. And that's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to do for the elect. Lord willing, we are part of that number. All right? That faith, you got to have that faith, man. You know, that faith is what's going to move those mountains for you in the times of Jacob's trouble when your back is against the wall. All right, verse 4, Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Amen. As it said, take it cheerfully. Hey, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahushua might set you back for a minor comeback. I mean, set you back, how does it go? A minor setback for a major comeback. So you just got to endure. You know, ain't no crying. We ain't X and Y me. You know, the world ain't gonna never be like, well, if not you, then, you know, write me some names down so I can put it on them. No, man, Yahweh Shem Yahushua put it on you for a reason. You know, he created us to be able to handle the things that he put up before us. And guess what? Because if we wouldn't be able to handle it, he wouldn't have put it on us. So you got to just constantly endure. Whatsoever brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Take it cheerfully. Take it on the chin. And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. We go through those lower states in time. We're going through it right now in some shape, form, or fashion. Ain't nobody hell is the same. You know? But take it cheerfully. You know? Think about in the book of Daniel. You know where, let's get it. Get it in the NLT though. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, this I'm in Daniel chapter 3, starting at verse. Let's start at 14, just for the sake of time. Just to bring it up to speed, so I have to read all of it. And you know, I know brothers and true believers and sisters, they know this account. When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they didn't bow to Nebuchadnezzar, you know, and his golden idol that he had set up when the music played, you know, because they trusted in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and they knew that they would be going off bowing to another god, you know, a fake god. This is the NLT. I'm going to start at 14. It says, Nebuchadnezzar said to them, is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you refuse to serve my gods, to worship the gold statue I have set up? I will give you one more chance to bow down and worship the statue I have made when you hear the sound of the musical instruments. But if you refuse, you will be thrown immediately into the blazing furnace. And then what God will be able to rescue you from my power? So Nebuchadnezzar, he threatened him like, hey man, I'm gonna give you one more chance. But if you don't bow this time, you're gonna be thrown in the fiery furnace. And if I throw you in the fiery furnace, can your God save you from that? Let's see what they say. All right. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the if we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the power of Yahweh whom we serve is able to save us He will rescue us from the power, from your power, your majesty. But even if he doesn't, we won't make his son. We want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up. So hey, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was like, hey man, if you throw us in that fiery furnace, our power gon' stand up for us. And they also said, even if he don't, we making it clear to you that, hey, even if our power don't save us from this judgment, then we still not gonna bow. You know what I'm saying? Death before dishonor. You know, hey, that's what you gonna do, then that's what you gonna do. You know, if our power gonna save us, our power gonna save us, but we ain't bowing down to no fake idols, man, just because you threaten us with judgment. All right? That's faith, man. They didn't know before, you know, they went into that fiery furnace with Yahweh thy power save them. But guess what? They had that fate on their chest, man. All right, let's skip down for the sake of time. It says we're gonna start at 23. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, severely tied, fell into the roaring flames. But suddenly Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement and exclaimed to his advisors, did we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace? Yes, your majesty, we certainly did. They replied, look, Nebuchadnezzar shouted, I see 4 men unbound walking around in the fire, unharmed, and the 4th looks like Yahweh thy power. Nebuchadnezzar came as close as he could to the door of the flaming furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servant of the Most High Yahweh thy power, come out, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the fire. Then the high office official, governor, and advisor crowded around them and saw that the fire had not touched them, not a hair on their heads was singed, and their clothes was not scorched. They didn't even smell like smoke. So Yahweh thy power stepped in. You know, he stepped in just like they had faith, like, hey man, our power gonna save us from you. You know? He stepped in just like they know that he could. And he acted on their faith. And these are the times that we coming into. We all about to be thrown in some type of furnace. But guess what? If you're a part of that elect number, guess what? You're gonna stand up like 18 karat, 24 karat gold. All right?
What did I stop off there?
Get back to Isaiah. Isaiah. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 6. You know, before I get that, let's get Romans chapter 1 and verse 17. For therein is the righteousness of Yahweh thy power revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. And when those three brothers was thrown into the furnace, what did they have? They had their faith. You know, what they said nothing about their money, they cars, clothes. You know what I'm saying? What they think is right or wrong. Simply, it was their faith. They went into the furnace with the faith. You know, and Yahweh thy power delivered them, man. The water y'all by Shimi Yahushua. For this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 6. believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. So first you got to believe in Yahweh thy power. First you got to believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. It says believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. He's going to do the rest. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is doing the heavy lifting, man. All we got to do is present our bodies as a living sacrifice in true faith and sincerity in the times that we living in. All right? Reading on, verse 7. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. So hey man, trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua in true faith and sincerity. You know what I'm saying? From the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. You know? Even when your back is against the wall and things just look so sketchy. Hey man, what you gonna do? Throw in the towel because it ain't look pretty for you? Or is you gonna, you know what I'm saying, keep your hand to the plow? You gonna mash the gas for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You know? And see what comes about. You know, just like the account of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They could have bowed and saved themselves from the fiery furnace and dishonored their power. But guess what? They stuck to the script. They stuck to the code. They were like, hey man, we willing to die for this, man. Nah, we willing to die for the true living power. And guess what? Since they stood up for the true living power and true faith and sincerity, you look what he did for them. You know? And that time is coming real soon where everybody about to be thrown in some type of furnace, man. Furnace of adversity. What you gonna do then? Barbecue and mildew. All right? Verse 9. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Yo, hey man, we believing on Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We know it's gonna get a little ugly. It's gonna get a lot uglier here. Well, hey, guess what else coming, man? Before we even get to the kingdom, man, we're going to have that joy in our heart of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua dealing with us. And we seeing mass judgment all throughout the four corners of the earth, right in front of us. Even if we ain't looking, we can hear the judgment going down. You know, people dying of starvation, man. People locked up inside of concentration camps. You know what I'm saying? FEMA death camps. But Yahweh Hashem Yahushua going to deliver the elect. And what joy, and what kind of joy you think is going to follow seeing and knowing that your power is dealing with you, saving you from the fiery furnace. It's a lot of joy. It's going to be an everlasting joy that come with it. All right, verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Just think about it. What account has there ever been that people that believers trusted in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua in true faith and sincerity, called on him to the best of their ability, you know, put everything on the line for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and he didn't come through for them. All right, when it says, look at the generation of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in the fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? You know? Look at the generations of old. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has always delivered those, you know, that believed in him, that counted on him. All right? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sin, and saveth in the time of affliction. So, hey, in the time of affliction, hey, you already know what that sounds like. That don't sound like peaches and candy and roses and stuff. It says, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy. We need that. We need the compassion from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We need the mercy from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sin and saveth in the time of affliction. Amen. A major affliction is about to hit the four corners of the earth. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to save the elect. But why do Yahweh Hashem Yahushua for his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? But why do Yahweh Hashem Yahushua for being able to come out here, you know, to have his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and come out here and look like a fool to the world. You know, like a fool to this world. All right, it says, woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Woe unto him, start that. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall not be defended. So guess what? If you got tired of believing, hey man, y'all been saying that, or I don't think my God would do something like that, not my Jesus, guess what? You don't truly trust in Yahweh Shai according to the way that he say that we supposed to be serving and fearing him, then you won't be defended. You will not be defended in the time of Jacob's trouble, in the hour of temptation. All right? You won't be defended when you need somebody to defend you. And guess what? Ain't nothing that you have can defend you in the times that we coming into. All bullets run out, all guns run out of bullets. You know what I'm saying? All shoulders get tired from swinging. You know, guess what? If you got this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Shai, and he's dealing with you, you're a part of that elect number, guess what? He gonna do all the heavy lifting now and then, as he has always did. So all we gotta do is just stay 10 toes down for Yahweh Shai. Oh, that sun is sunny. All right. Reading on, still in Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 14. And it reads, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? It says, woe is not a good thing. Death, destruction, chaos, judgment. You know, it says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? What you gonna do when y'all about to pull up on you? You done lost patience. He ain't gonna pull up on you. He ain't gonna pull up on you and give you no pep talk and tell you to get back in the game. You know, the prophets right now are telling you, hey man, stick to the script. Hold on to what you have till Yahweh Shai pull up on the scene. It says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? What you gonna do? That's a question. You ain't been serving Yahweh Shai, you done lost patience. What you gonna do when he pull up on you, call your name? All right? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 10. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Verse 11. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. All right, so if you truly trust in Yahweh Shai, seeking him in true faith and sincerity, it says, say ye to the righteous that ye shall say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doing. So the fruit of your doing is your labor. What you've been doing while you had an opportunity. What did you do with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and these talents that the Yahweh Shai gave you? You know, it's going to be well with you. You know? You only get out what you put into it. All right? But for the wicked, let's see what it says. It says, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. So, hey, if you ain't put in no brick for Yahweh Shai, then don't look for no help. Don't look for the judgment not to fall on you and your family's head. Don't be looking to eat and drink when you had an opportunity to serve your power, man. But when you had an opportunity to serve your power, what was you too busy doing? You was too busy filling your own belly, eating and drinking at that time, instead of sowing to the seed. All right? All right, this is I grabbed this early, but hey, Romans 1 and 17, it says, For therein is the righteousness of Yahweh thy power revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith. And that's ultimately what we're doing right now. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushua for this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It's the faith that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given us that got us standing on our feet in the times that we're living in. So the water Yahweh Shem Yahushua, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and being able to come out here. All right, let's get, this is Hebrews chapter 10, starting at verse 35, and I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, So do not throw away this confident trust in the Lord. Remember the great reward it brings you. Patience, endurance is what you need now, so that you will continue to do Yahweh thy power's will. So all we need is that patience and endurance, man, to keep us going. Yahweh Shem Yahushua don't have to give us no gold crown with all the rubies and diamonds in the world on it right now. We don't need that, you know. We don't need that. That ain't what we need to continue. We need the mercy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua to endure. You know what I'm saying? We need to continue to have patience. You know, continue to have patience with y'all in this walk, man. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. All right. Reading on, patient endurance is what you need now, so that you will continue to do Yahweh thy power's will. Then you will receive all that he has promised. For in just a little while, the coming one will come and not delay. And my righteous one will love Salaki. And my righteousness, my righteous ones will live by faith. But I will take no place in anyone who turns away. So you know you got those who have came into this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know, they knew the names, they knew the precepts. But guess what? They candle got blew out and they went back into the world. Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he ain't gonna have no delight in them in that time. All right, it says, and my righteous ones will live by faith, but I will take no pleasure in anyone who turns away. But we are not like those who turn away from Yahweh thy power to their own destruction. We are the faithful ones whose souls will be saved. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushua is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Lord willing, we are part of that number. You know? Again, it says, but we are not like those who turn away from Yahweh thy power to their own instructions. We are the faithful ones whose souls will be saved. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Lord willing, we are part of that elect number. You know, we want our souls to be saved, man. You know, this ain't you getting laid off from your job or nothing like that. You know, this is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. You know, this is the creator of the heavens and earth. You know, this ain't no supervisor at your job. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse 13, and it reads, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world was created. But we know that of our people are not going to come back to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Right along with all these heathens and these damn devils who going to get judgment on this side. So we don't have to really, like, you know, go too deep into how they going to be judged, because we know that they're going to be judged. You know, it's the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is in whom the world is created. All right, I'm going to skip over 14 and hop back, get 15, 2 Ezra 9 and 15. I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak, and also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. So we know out of all of Yasharallah, Yahweh thy power, Yahweh by Shemi Awashai said that it's gonna be more being saved. I mean, so like it's gonna be more that die than those that be saved. And we can't thank him enough for that. The water Yahweh by Shemi Awashai for this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and your will that's going out. All right. Next precept is coming from the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and 13. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Yeah, so we got to endure. You know, it ain't no punching out the clock till y'all by Shem Yahushua says so. It's like we at work, but we don't know what time we get off. You know, you got to endure to the end to be saved. That's the only way that you can make it, man. You got to endure to the very last minute. Also, Matthew chapter 10 and 22 to back it up. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endured to the end shall be saved. All right, we just gotta muster it up, man. We gotta just continue. No matter what we dealing with, no matter what we gotta go through, we gotta endure to the end. And on top of that, it says that, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. And you're gonna be hated. You know, you're going to be add a cherry on top of it, and you're going to be hated. You got to endure to the end, and you're going to be hated of all men for Yahweh thy power, for Yahweh by Shalaki, for Yahweh by Shem Yahushai's name's sake. But he that endured to the end shall be saved. So we just got to endure to the end to be saved. Well, hey, man, we count the cost. You know, whatever it takes, you just got to be about that. Small price to pay for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is gonna do for the ones that love him. All right. This is James chapter 1, starting at verse 2, and it reads, "My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall in diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, be perfect and entire, wanting nothing." So man, you just gotta go through the motions. You gotta deal with what you gotta deal with, you know? Yahweh Shem Yahushai, they don't make no mistakes. So the way it was given to you is the way that you gotta live it out, the way you gotta work it out, the way you gotta walk it out. You know? Let patience have her perfect work. You know, if you rushing something, then guess what? It ain't gonna be to what it should be, you know, to the best of its ability. So let patience have its perfect work. All right. All right. Because only a fool would try to rush Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, thinking that it's gonna come out a different way, or they know what's best. No, it don't work like that. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 3. Sensible people in the NLT. No, this is in the GNT. It says, this Proverbs 22 and verse 3. Sensible people will see trouble coming and avoid it. But an unthinking person will walk into it and regret it later. So you can't see what's going on. You know, be a smart person, man. Be a sensible person that see that all these things are coming to pass. All the things that the prophecies spoke about. All the things that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai told us would be going on. You know, we trying to get into the doors of mercy while we got an opportunity. You know, but 2/3 of our people, they like, hey man, God loves everybody. Everybody can be saved. You know, I don't think a power that I serve would do something like that. So guess what? Hey man, as it says, I'm gonna read it again. It says, Proverbs 22 and verse 3 in the GNT. It says, sensible people will see trouble coming and avoid it. But an unthinking person will walk right into it and regret it later. So an unthinking person is the person who not taking his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding truth. Is not taking it serious. An unthinking person is a person that's still calling on the name of God and Jesus. You know, an unthinking person is a person that's thinking that they got it all figured out. You know, an unthinking person think that, you know, it's gonna always be okay in Babylon the Great. Hey man, but that ain't the way y'all about Shimmy Shai got it set up. All right. I'll get it in the KJV as well. It says in Proverbs 22 and 3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. I just wanted to get it in another translation. You know, some translations hit so hard. All right. I'm gonna end it off on this. This is Psalms 55 and verse 22. It says, "Cast thy burdens on the Lord, and He shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." So everything we going through, our back being against the wall, whatever we got to deal with, the hell that we catching, man. Yahweh Shimmy says that He will never suffer the righteous to be moved. That we hoping to be a part of that righteous number. That Yahweh Shimmy is not gonna let be moved around. We living in some beautiful times and some scary times, man. This is a time that you should be holding on to the plow even tighter. You know, begging y'all about Shimmy Shai to be a part of that number, man. I can't see nothing. Begging y'all about Shimmy Shai to be a part of that number because we need his compassion, we need His grace and mercy. All right, we need all of that. Proverbs chapter 91 and verse 14. Because He hath set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name. So Yahweh Shimmy Shai, He knows His name. He knows who's serving Him in true faith and sincerity. He knows who's been out there on the highways and hedges serving Him. He knows who's been doing edifying sit down listen. He knows who at least been trying. You know what they say, A for effort. You know, but this test that we taking right here, you want to get as many as right as possible, man. It's just a beautiful thing to have your true living power standing up for you. All right. Again, it says, "He shall call upon me," and that's what we doing right now. We calling on Yahweh Shimmy Shai, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. So, let me go back. Psalm chapter 91 and 14. Because He hath set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name. Verse 15. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. So Yahweh Shimmy Shai says, He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. So Yahweh Shimmy Shai is going to answer to the cries and to the prayers of the elect. Lord willing, be a part of that number. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. So us coming out here on these highways and hedges, us truly trusting in Yahweh, trusting and believing and trusting in Yahweh Shimmy Shai, true faith and sincerity. Guess what? Yahweh Shimmy Shai is going to honor that, man. It says that I will deliver him and honor him. So us truly believing in Yahweh Shimmy Shai, when Yahweh Shai Mashiach return, guess what? Us doing all this work, doing this work, doing the will of the Father, that's going to turn to honor. That's going to turn to honor for us. All right? All right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 21. For after that, in the wisdom of Yahweh thy power, the world by wisdom knew not Yahweh thy power. It pleased Yahweh thy power by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. You know, some Issachar brothers to my left, I don't know what they saying, you know, but, you know, they laughing and stuff, but guess what, man? Although I might look like a fool to the world, man, I don't look the same to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Scripture says that his thoughts are not like our thoughts, and his ways are not like our ways, roughly paraphrasing. So guess what? Yeah, laugh it up. Laugh it up. I'd rather be doing what I'm doing right now than you be doing what you doing. Why do y'all about to me outside for this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1, and it reads, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and shew my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sin." So Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai told us to come out here, cry aloud and spare not, lift up our voice like a trumpet. And we know the trumpet is one of the loudest instruments. So we supposed to be out here, you know, shaking our hands at Babylon the Great, giving Jacob, telling Jacob to repent, you know, because the kingdom is at hand. It says, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and shew my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins." All right? You don't want Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to show you what you've been doing wrong, because guess what? It's gonna be too late then. All right? This is Isaiah 52 and verse 8, and it reads, "Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion." So the watchmen, the prophets, the one Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai has raised up in this time that we're living in, we all seeing eye to eye. Yeah, it is a lot of different camps and a lot of different doctrines and stuff like that. But I'm talking to the true believers of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, we are all on one accord. You know, all on one accord with Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right? Lord willing, we are part of that elect number that's going to make it out of here. All right? Scarcely, the elect is going to scarcely be saved. All right? This is Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 13. It says, "You are a city by a great river, a great center of commerce. But your end has come. The thread of your life is cut." So this is what's going on, Esau. You know what I'm saying? They are, for all these years, man, they have lived deliciously. They have caused other nations to drink their wine. You know what I'm saying? Fornication. All kinds of just things that are so ungodly to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So guess what? Right now, for a long time, you know, they live deliciously. But guess what? Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is gonna cut it off at the blink of an eye. You know, they ain't gonna be them boys in a minute. They ain't gonna be who they claim to be in a minute. And everybody is gonna be able to see that. So this devil is being exposed on the world stage. What did I leave off with? Isaiah 19 and 15. "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." So man, these jobs, AI said that, not AI, Salaki, an article on AI, let me grab it real quick. On Entire Headlines, it says that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs. Hey, man, we in them times. All right, 16, Isaiah 19 and 16. In that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua is shaking his hand over Babylon the Great, all throughout the four corners of the earth. But mainly here in Babylon the Great, man, this place is going to be destroyed. But why do Yahweh Shem Yahushua says, in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, Babylon the Great, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand, and the Lord of hosts, which he has shaken over it. So it's like you getting punished by your parents. Then I tell you I was gonna get you, but hey, well, this is y'all about some y'all shot saying, hey, didn't I tell you you gonna fall for this? Guess what? Y'all about some y'all shot. This word is faithful and true. All right. Second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest parts of the sign past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when thou shalt be seeing earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Verse 6, even so the times also of highest have Second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 6. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginning, and wonder and power works, and ending in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my border, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So everybody that's gonna make it is because Yahweh Shem Yahushua sanctified them from the foundations of the earth, from the beginning of the earth. He ain't going down the line like you gonna make it. He already know who gonna make it. He already know who gonna endure. You know. Because we seeing these times right now. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, Second Esdras 9 and 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So we seeing these things that Yahweh Shem Yahushua told us will be the signs. You know, and guess what? The elect, the righteous, is gonna be walking in a certain manner in these times that we living in. You know, standing in the paint for Yahweh Shem Yahushua. One day closer of eliminate one more thing out of this world that we don't care about. See, right now we still gotta go to work and all that kind of stuff. But guess what? We coming into those times. The only thing that we gonna be caring about is Yahweh Shem Yahushua and Yahweh Shem Yahushua only. No jobs, no money, no nothing. All right? So I'm going to end it off on that note. Hopefully that it was edifying. The water to anybody who going to watch later and the people that was on the comment board. It's your brother Kalab. Also go by hope, grace, and mercy. I'm going to end it off giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakradah. Shalom.